The year is 1119. The First Crusade has ended, and Christian forces now hold Jerusalem. But the Holy Land is far from safe. Pilgrims who journey to the sacred city face danger at every turn: bandits, hostile forces, treacherous roads. For many, the path to salvation ends in bloodshed. Amid this turmoil, 9 knights make a solemn vow. Led by a French nobleman, Hugues de Payan, they dedicate their lives to protecting these pilgrims. They are pious, disciplined, and fearless. They call themselves the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, soon known simply as the Knights Templar. Their beginning is humble. They live modestly, follow strict monastic rules, and rely on donations. They set up their base in the remains of Solomon's Temple, a site steeped in religious significance. From these ancient ruins, their name is born, and with it, their legend. Unlike other knights, Templars are both monks and warriors. They take vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. They own no personal property. They pray, train, and fight as one. Bound by faith and discipline, they answer not to kings or lords, but to God alone. The Church sees great potential in these warrior monks. In 1139, Pope Innocent II issues a papal bull, Omni Datum Optimum, that grants the Templars independence from local authorities. They can travel freely across borders, collect taxes, and are answerable only to the Pope. This changes everything. The Templars become a new kind of force, one that wields both sword and scripture. Their symbol, a red cross on a white mantle, spreads across Europe and the Middle East. It becomes a sign of holy purpose, discipline, and fearsome power. As their reputation grows, so does their membership. Noble families send sons to join the order. Gifts of land, gold, and property pour in. The Templars expand their presence across France, England, Spain, and beyond. They are no longer a small band of warriors. They are a rising power. Templars are known for their courage in battle. They ride at the front lines, fight in tight formations, and never retreat unless commanded. If captured, they refuse ransom. Death is not defeat. It is sacrifice in the name of Christ. Their way of life is unlike anything the medieval world has seen. Many struggle to understand how men of God can also be men of war. The idea of a holy knight challenges traditional views of faith and violence, but powerful voices rise in their defense. One of the most influential is Saint Bernard of Clairvaux. In his treatise, In Praise of the New Knighthood, he argues that the Templars fight not for greed or conquest, but for righteousness. He calls them the true defenders of Christendom. With such support, the Templars continue to grow. They build massive fortresses, patrol dangerous routes, and escort pilgrims to Jerusalem. Their presence brings a fragile sense of security to a violent land. Yet with success comes suspicion. Though they vow poverty, the Templars become wealthy. Their lands stretch across Europe. Their coffers are filled with gold. Their network is vast, and with it comes influence. To manage their growing assets, they develop a system of financial management. They create an early form of banking. Pilgrims can deposit money in one city and withdraw it in another. Their documents of credit are trusted across borders. This innovation marks a turning point. The Templars are no longer just soldiers of Christ. They are stewards of wealth, administrators, and early financiers. By the mid-12th century, the Templar Order is a force unlike any other. They hold military power, spiritual authority, and financial reach. They are respected, feared, and envied. The warrior monks who once slept on stone floors and begged for alms now stand at the heart of empires. Some hail them as saints, others warn of ambition and secrecy. But one thing is clear: the Templars have risen, and their story is only beginning. As the 12th century unfolds, the Knights Templar rise from humble warriors to one of the most powerful institutions in medieval Europe. Their reputation on the battlefield grows rapidly. In key Crusader campaigns, they fight bravely and fiercely. At Montgisard, a small group of Templars helps defeat a much larger force led by Saladin. Even in defeat, they fight to the death, earning admiration and fear. But battle is only one side of their power. Across Europe, the order begins to receive massive donations, lands, farms, and wealth. They manage these assets with discipline, turning the order into a financial empire. To protect pilgrims' money, the Templars develop a brilliant system: early banking. A pilgrim could deposit funds in Paris and withdraw them safely in Jerusalem. They invent letters of credit, secure, trusted, and portable. Unintentionally, the Templars become bankers. Kings, nobles, and merchants all rely on their services. But they remain true to their vows. Individually, they own nothing. They wear plain robes, sleep in simple quarters, and live by prayer, discipline, and obedience. Their wealth belongs to the order and to its mission. That mission includes building vast fortresses across the Holy Land. Structures like Safed and Crac des Chevaliers dominate the landscape. Thick walls, high towers, secret chambers, symbols of strength and strategy. The Templars also command their own ships, moving men and supplies across the Mediterranean. Their reach becomes global. They answer only to the Pope, operate across borders, and act as both warriors and diplomats. This brings admiration, but also suspicion. Their secret rituals, rapid rise, and immense wealth raise questions. Myths begin to spread. The Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, secret knowledge. The Templars say nothing. Silence is their way. In 1187, a disaster strikes. At the Battle of Hattin, Saladin destroys the Crusader army. Jerusalem falls. Many Templars are killed or captured. Saladin orders their execution, seeing them as too dangerous to live. But they endure. They rebuild. Their legend grows. Back in Europe, they become more powerful than ever. Yet whispers grow louder. How can warriors sworn to poverty hold so much wealth? Why do they answer to no one but the Pope? The Templars now stand at the peak of their power, but dark clouds begin to gather. Their greatest challenge lies ahead. The loss of Jerusalem in 1187 shook the Christian world. The city that had been the center of Crusader hope was now in the hands of Saladin. For the Templars, it was not just a military defeat, it was a spiritual crisis. The Crusader states began to crumble. The kingdom of Jerusalem was reduced to a coastal strip. Castles fell, allies died. The mission that had once been so clear, defend the Holy Land, became more complicated. The Templars adapted. They built new fortresses, supported new campaigns, and lobbied European monarchs for fresh crusades. But the tides were turning. New rivals emerged: the Knights Hospitaller and the Teutonic Order. Though once allies, these military orders now competed for influence, donations, and power. The Templars, proud and well-funded, found themselves locked in silent rivalries with those they once fought beside. At home, criticism grew. Some clergy accused the order of becoming too rich, too secretive. Common people who lived in poverty watched the Templars manage vast estates. Whispers of greed and arrogance began to spread. Still, kings relied on them. Their network of castles, treasuries, and ships remained vital. Monarchs borrowed money from the Templars to fund wars and secure thrones. The order remained a trusted institution until it clashed with one very powerful king. Philip IV of France, known as Philip the Fair, was deeply in debt to the Templars. His wars and ambitions had drained his treasury. The Templars, with their wealth and independence, posed both a financial threat and a political obstacle. Philip began to move against them. He spread rumors of heresy, idol worship, and blasphemy. He accused them of secret rites, of spitting on the cross, of worshiping false gods. None of it was proven. But in a world hungry for scandal, rumors were enough. The Pope at the time, Clement V, was weak and under Philip's influence. Though hesitant, he did not defend the Templars with strength. The stage was set for betrayal. On Friday, October 13th, 1307, Philip struck. Templars across France were arrested. Their lands were seized. Their leaders were tortured. Under agony, many confessed to crimes they never committed, just to make the pain stop. The trial of the Templars had begun, and the end of the order was near. As the Crusader influence waned, the Templars were forced to reconsider their identity. No longer solely defenders of Holy Land, they became administrators of vast territories, diplomats, and financiers. Their mission was evolving, but not everyone approved. In the courts of Europe, jealous whispers began to spread. Why do these knights wield such power? Why do they answer to no king? Their secrecy bred suspicion, and their independence challenged authority. The rivalry with the Hospitallers deepened. Though both orders served the Church, their competition for royal favor, funding, and prestige created tension. Some kings favored one over the other, dividing loyalties and increasing friction. Philip IV saw an opportunity. By discrediting the Templars, he could erase his debts and claim their riches. His accusations were wild. Worship of a mysterious idol called Baphomet, desecration of holy symbols, obscene initiation rituals. These charges, though baseless, were shocking to the public. Torture extracted confessions. The Templars, known for silence and endurance, broke under unbearable pain. These confessions were used as proof of guilt, fueling further arrests and executions. Europe was divided. Some kingdoms refused to believe the charges. In Portugal, for example, the order was simply renamed and continued its work. In others, fear prevailed. In 1312, under pressure from Philip, Pope Clement V officially dissolved the Order of the Temple. Their properties were transferred to the Hospitallers, but much of their wealth had mysteriously vanished. 2 years later, Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master, was burned at the stake in Paris. As flames consumed him, he cried out that both Pope Clement and King Philip would face God's judgment within the year. Both men died soon after. The Templars were gone, but their legend was just beginning. On the morning of Friday, October 13th, 1307, France awoke to shock. Under orders from King Philip IV, soldiers raided Templar properties across the kingdom. Hundreds of knights were arrested without warning. The accusations were horrifying. Heresy, devil worship, spitting on the cross, obscene rituals. Under torture, some confessed to crimes they never committed. These confessions, extracted in pain and fear, were used to justify further arrests. Grand Master Jacques de Molay and other leaders were imprisoned, humiliated, and broken. Yet even in captivity, many denied the charges. Some died in their cells. Others were burned at the stake. Pope Clement V, torn between loyalty to the Church and pressure from Philip, hesitated. At first, he called for an inquiry, but as the scandal grew, the Pope gave in. In 1312, he officially dissolved the Order of the Temple at the Council of Vienne. The Templars' lands and wealth were supposed to be transferred to the Knights Hospitaller, but much of their treasure had vanished. Some believe it was hidden. Others say it never existed. The mystery of the Templar fortune would become legend. In 1314, after years of imprisonment, Jacques de Molay and fellow commander Geoffroy de Charnay were brought before the public. They had recanted their earlier confessions and proclaimed their innocence. For this defiance, they were sentenced to death. Burned alive on a small island in the Seine River, de Molay's final words cursed both the king and the Pope. Witnesses claimed he summoned them to God's judgment within the year. Remarkably, both men died soon after. The Templar order had been erased by crown and church, but whispers endured. What had really happened? Were the Templars truly heretics or victims of political greed? Had they grown too powerful for kings to control? Across Europe, reactions varied. In England, many Templars were arrested, but few were executed. In Portugal and Spain, the order was simply renamed and continued under royal patronage. The men survived, even if the name did not. In Germany and Eastern Europe, the persecution was weaker. Many knights quietly retired or joined other orders. The destruction of the Templars was not a clean break. It was a scattering of ashes. Their fortresses were claimed, their symbols removed, their red cross faded from banners. Yet the silence they left behind spoke louder than any proclamation. Their fall marked the end of an era. The age of holy war and papal supremacy was fading. Monarchs had shown they could bend even the most sacred institutions to their will. The execution of Jacques de Molay became a turning point in history, a moment when faith, power, and politics collided in fire. What remained of the Templars was no longer stone or steel, but legend. And that legend was only beginning. The Knights Templar were gone, but their shadow never vanished. In the centuries that followed, their story only grew more mysterious, more powerful, and more mythic. The name Templar became synonymous with secrecy, power, and lost treasure. Where did their wealth go? No one knows for certain. Some believe it was seized and spent. Others claim it was hidden, spirited away to secret locations, buried beneath churches, or transported across oceans. The idea of a hidden Templar treasure has inspired countless books, films, and theories. Then there are the stories of survival. In Portugal, King Dinis protected the remaining knights by forming a new order, the Order of Christ. Many former Templars simply changed names and continued their missions. Some even say the navigators of Portugal's great age of exploration were funded and guided by Templar knowledge. In Scotland, legends tell of Templars fleeing persecution and finding refuge among noble families. Some tales claim they fought at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, tipping the balance in favor of Scottish independence. And in the centuries that followed, a new idea began to circulate: that the Templars had passed on their secrets, not just their wealth, but their wisdom. This theory gained traction during the Enlightenment and the birth of Freemasonry. Masonic lodges began adopting symbols, rituals, and language inspired by the Templars. Some even claimed to be the direct heirs of the order. Whether true or not, these connections added another layer to the myth. By the 18th and 19th centuries, the Templars had become figures of legend, knights of mystery, guardians of ancient truths. Romanticized in novels, praised by secret societies, and feared by conspiracy theorists. Modern pop culture embraced them. From Indiana Jones to the Da Vinci Code, the Templars appear as protectors of sacred relics, keepers of forbidden knowledge, or hidden puppet masters behind world events. But beyond the fiction, their real legacy endures. The Templars pioneered ideas far ahead of their time. Their banking systems laid the groundwork for international finance. Their military discipline influenced future knightly orders. Their fall exposed the dangers of unchecked royal power and religious manipulation. They remind us of the power of belief and the cost of ambition. From poverty to power, from glory to ashes, the Knights Templar lived a story that defies simple explanation. Were they heroes, heretics, or something else entirely? Their story ends not with destruction, but with transformation. They became more than an order. They became a legend, and legends never truly die.